Good morning, guys, and today we're going to be making a start on the electrics. So first of all, I had to stop off at a bit of brekkie. We're going to make our way down to the unit, grab some tools, make a start. Okay, let's go. That's responsive. There we go. Bulk charge. Oh yes. Stated charge. That 100%, because this battery is brand new. It's got 100% charge. Come on. We fucking done it. We fucking done it. Okay, guys, we're now down the unit. So the first thing we got to do is remove the raised bed, because I'm not bending down all day. Take the bed out, get everything out the way, make the working space nice and easy. So let's get cracking. Right, I wasn't planning on doing that side. I only wanted to do this side so I can get the electrics up, but I put the carpet on the wrong side. Ah! Okay, so now we've got two walls. I only planned on making the one wall so I can get the electric stuck on, but I made a mistake and put the carpet on the wrong side. So it turns out I got two, which I'm happy with, but I lost a bit of time. Okay, so this is a 130 amp hour AGM leisure battery. It's good enough as a starter. It'll get me going. Eventually I'm going to have 3 of these in series, but it's okay for now. Get me going. To be honest, I spent more time building these bloody walls than what I did trying to install the electrics, but obviously the electrics need to be screwed onto something solid. I've left a little gap behind because I can run the cables behind without having to unscrew this every 5 minutes because the holes get loose. All the appliances in on the fuse box, the bus bar for the negatives, the smart shunt, which will tell you the wattage and the batteries, what's going on with the battery basically, and the charger itself. So what we're going to do today is we've got a 16mm positive cable. We're going to run that from the we're going to run this from the starter battery through the conduit to help protect it in the walls, and then we're going to run this all the way around the van straight to here via breakers and all that kind of stuff. So that's this morning's job. You've got a 16mm cable coming straight from the starter battery into a fuse, and then the cable runs all the way into the DC to DC charger. Positive, negative, they go into the DC to DC charger, and then positive, negative coming out of the DC to DC charger via the breaker. You go through the breaker first. Well, the positive will go through the breaker, the negative will go to the bus bar. Now, the reason why we use a bus bar is all my negatives, I can put up to 4 negatives under there. You're only supposed to have one cable coming from the battery. If you've got 3 devices like the DC to DC charger, you've got an MPPT solar charger which charges the solar from the solar panels, which is kind of like a device like this, which will go by there eventually. And if you've got an inverter, which you could put 240 appliances. So you've got 3 different appliances, which will be this, the solar and the inverter. Now each device will have a negative cable coming off. So rather than having 3 negative cables all connected to the battery, you put the negatives on the bus bar, and this will all be a negative connector, and then you've only got the one negative coming from the bus bar to the battery. Does that make sense? Okay, so we got our first negative cable, only a little piece, because this is going to go from the shunt to the bus bar. So now we've got our positive and negative coming straight from the battery through the conduit into the input of the DC to DC charger, from the output of the charger through the breaker to the battery. Now I put a breaker directly below because that's like a trip in between the charger and the battery in case this breaks down or is a fault or anything like that. So this little breaker here, you can trip it yourself. So when you press this little button up, now it's live, press that red button and it breaks. If there's a fault in the line somewhere, it will automatically break and cut that circuit off, and then you can investigate which part has actually failed or malfunctioned or whatever. This negative cable will go to the battery. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tape that on there like the positive one. Right, because I know exactly where that's going in. Right, so that's a negative going to the battery. So that negative will go straight to the shunt. Right, it's a Victron Bluetooth shunt. It'll go through the shunt straight to the bus bar, and then we need another negative which will go into the fuse box, and that's where all the smaller cables will all go to the lights and the fan and the TV, and that's the end of the line for it and the negatives. Hello guys. Okay, so it's been another 2 or 3 weeks later since the last bit of video I recorded, because Christ, these electrics, there's so much going on, little bits I keep on not realizing I need, or I keep on forgetting to buy. Like I still needed to buy a little bit more 16mm black negative cable, which I bought another 2 meters, and on top of the 10 meters I had originally, going from this battery to the starter battery, because I still need little tiny bits to go from the fuse box to the bus bar, and from here to here. It's like 200mm from there to there, 200mm from there to there. It all adds up. So I bought another 2 meters of black and red. Plus I needed a few more big crimps. I bought 4 because I needed another 4. 2 to go onto this battery and 2 to go onto the other battery. This is going to be my positive bus bar, which will go about here, which I've already got a cable ready to go straight from the fuse, which is going to go into the fuse box. And I've got the negative going into the fuse box already, and that will connect to the negative bus bar. Negative, I just feed it through the hole and then go under the shunt. Okay, under the shunt, through the hole, out the bottom. Now this will go directly onto the battery. So now we're going to put another positive cable from the breaker fuse, which comes directly after the bus bar, going up to the positive of the fuse box. I might go in the wall again, otherwise it's going to wrap around like that and it just fucking looks ugly, doesn't it? So this cable now will go in the wall, back up, back to the top. I think it just makes it a little bit neater, and then back out to the wall, cut them off there, and then into the top of the fuse box. Okay. For the 3mm cable, which will spur off the fuse box. Now, I've decided to go with 3mm. Now, 1.5 will be enough, or 2mm will be enough, but I'm going 3mm because I just want to be extra safe. So I put 3mm on all my spots because they're running a span of over 10 meters, right? So the longer you go, it loses power the further it travels. So if you're not sure about what size cables, or you're thinking, oh, is it this, is it, always go one bigger. So I've gone 3mm, and that is more than enough. It'll work exactly the same. You won't have any problems. It won't not work as good, but you know you're fucking safe. Alright, you ain't got to worry about overheating and all that kind of stuff, and the cables burning out if you overload it and all that kind of stuff. 3mm, yeah. So there's the crimps, but we'll come to that later on. So now we got, where's my blade? Where's my blade? Where's my blade? Right, so now we got one. I had to go and buy a pack only for one because it needs to go on there. There we go, fucking perfect. So I've cut the cable the right size, which will come from the DC to DC charger straight to the bus bar, like so. Okay, so we cut, strip, crimp, If you want to watch a video on how to cut, crimp and strip cables, I made a designated video on that. Now, I'm not going to go too well. You watch me do it anyway, so it's easy enough. It's a bit daunting at first, mind. It is a daunting task. You're thinking, am I doing it right? Am I crimping it hard enough? Is it going to fall off? And you know, so, but once you've done it a few times, you know, it's fucking pretty easy. Yeah. Lovely. What a tool. See, it's on there, fucking lovely. I'm just going to double check everything before I connect anything up. I haven't connected nothing on the starter battery side yet. I haven't even crimped that side yet. Oh, here's another thing I had to wait for as well. Now this is an inline fuse which goes from the starter battery through this fuse before it comes into this system. So any problems that end, they'll cut out and not even come up here. But yeah, so this is the inline fuse. If I can just open it up, there we go. So that's the inline fuse. Your positive will go in this side and then it'll come out this side. Any problems, it'll break in on the fuse in the center. So that needs to go as close to the battery as possible. Okay, so now the battery, the starter battery, is underneath the passenger side floor. So now we need to connect the positive and the negative. So these two cables are going straight to the back of the van through the DC to DC charge. I need to connect these up now. I've had to drill a hole through the metal. So I've had to drill a hole through the metal here because it won't fit through this part here. So that's okay. It'll go into the floor anyway. So now I'm just making sure. So I'm just making sure now that this crimp will go over the negative part of the battery, which it does. It's imperfect. So I'm just going to crimp on the negative. Listen to my dog in the background. She wants me to pass her ball. Daddy's busy. That's all the crimping and the stripping and the cutting and the fat and about. Now we're ready to connect it all together. Okay, so the positive coming right from the back of the van will go through the inline fuse. So in case it's a problem this end, it's going to trip right by here and not go to the back of the van. Okay, now again, I'm only going to hand tight these for 5 minutes until they're all connected. Now this one is, that's the bigger end, isn't it? Yeah. So and then through the fuse. Okay, so from the back of the van, through the fuse, out the fuse, onto the battery. Okay, I'm not going to connect it yet until they're all tight. Everything's tight. Okay, right. You always lose the 8mm or the 10mm all the time. It's never the 9 or 11. Oh no, no, no. It's always the 8 to 10 if I can go first. Okay, I'm back in the back of the van. Back in the back of the van? I'm back in the back of the van, yeah. I just noticed a little blue light on the charger is flashing. See that? Yep. Which means there is power from the front starter battery, the main battery, coming towards the charger. So I need to open my phone because that's giving off a Bluetooth signal. So I'll go on my phone now. It's now searching for devices. Here we go. Orion Smart. Right, come here. So on the DC to DC charge, I hope you can hear me because I'm behind the camera now. Here we've got a blue flashing light. I turned on my Bluetooth. Alright. So this is, it says, right now I think the pin is 6 zeros. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Pair. Okay, it's pairing device. There we go, it's paired. Okay, so I've downloaded the app. I got my load coming in. Now I've got to connect this bridge. Now this little bridge connects the whole thing together. Once I put this in, it'll become active on the app. So I just gotta click that in. There you go. Power on. You see that? So this blue light up here, that's a Bluetooth. Now we have power on. Now we go back into the app, refresh. Okay, so now we're in the app. That's our signal. There we go. So we click on, there we go, connecting. Woohoo! Don't leave the app while update is in progress. Okay, so incoming phone calls will not interrupt. Yeah. Okay, so let's, yes. Here we go, baby. Battery settings. At the moment it's on factory lithium ion. I haven't got lithium ion, so I need to change that. AGM, that's the one I got. Right, so that's the state that, right, charge is disabled due to engine shutdown and detected. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go and jump in the front of the van, switch the engine on and see what happens. Okay, we're going to turn the engine on. Make sure it's in neutral. Charge is disabled. Oh, there we go. The input's going up. The input's going up already. Oh, hello, you can see me. God, that's responsive. There we go. Bulk charge. Oh yes. Battery is charging with a maximum current until absorption voltage is reached. At the end of bulk battery of charge. At the end of bulk charge, battery is 80% charged and ready for use. So we know that is working. There we go, 13.5. It's starting to go down now. So I've actually run out of time because it's nearly 3 o'clock and I've got to go and price up a job. Okay, and I pick this back up when I get back. Okay, so now we have a live cable which goes from the shunt. Now this is a Bluetooth shunt. It tells me what's going on with the battery, percentage, temperature, all that kind of stuff. So I've literally just connected it up because the negatives are running through it. I need one live to go to the battery. So everything's all connected now. I just need to wire up the output of the DC to DC charger. I'm not going to turn on the fuses yet, the breakers. I've manually trip the breakers for now, because I've got to get in the air seconds. I don't want to fucking unscrew all that again. So I'm gonna, where's my screwdriver? So I'm gonna lay on the floor with a torch and get right underneath. Okay. That's in there pretty good. So I just got to connect up the live and the negative to the battery now. We're going to put that on tight with an adjustable spanner. And then finally, last one, we can connect the positive and the positive from the shunt. Okay, so a negative is on, the positive is on, the Bluetooth is flashing away. Everything's all tightened up. I made sure of that earlier. Now if you have a look on the side of the shunt, we have a blue flashing light. I know it's dark in here, I'm really sorry. We're coming towards the end of the video now. And fuck, I got no light. Look. Fuck's sake. Right, so anyway, the shunt, I think now I'm gonna download the shunt app. So if you can bear me a second. We're in the app. Not now. There we go. State the charge. That 100%, because this battery is brand new, it's got 100% charge. Voltage, it tells you the voltage, 12.85. Now this is all the state of the battery now. Start the battery is actually off. If I go and turn on the engine, that will go up. I'll do that now in a minute. Yeah, so history. It tells you the history, deepest charge, last charge. Wow, there's fucking loads going on in here. But anyway, I don't care about all that. The only one I'm really interested in is that big number there. And the reason why I'm only interested in that big number, 100%, because these AGM batteries, you're not supposed to let them go below 50%. 50%. Lithium batteries, you can drain them down to 10 or 20%, but these AGM, you only get half. So that's why the shunt is very handy, because I can just look at my phone and it'll tell me how much. Hang on, I'm fucking busy a minute. So that's why this smart shunt is so handy, because I can just look at my phone and it'll tell me how much percentage is left in that battery. And I just had a little look at the settings. It also tells you how much time you got left in your current state with all the appliances on. So let's say for argument's sake, I got the lights on, the TV and whatever else. It'll tell me how long I got left in that current state. If I leave all that power usage on, it'll tell me how long I got left until it drains, which is pretty handy. And you can also set alarms as well, because I don't want it to go below 50%, so I can set an alarm. When it gets to 60, it alerts me, and then I know to charge it. But when I'm driving, it should always top it up, and then when you get the solar panels, it should automatically top it up. But yeah, anyway, waffle, tech, fucking brilliant. Anyway, let's fucking start this baby up. Okay, it's the next morning and I decided to go to Screwfix. I spent all my time and money in that fucking Screwfix. I had to go and get a 30mm wood bit because these plug sockets are 30mm. So I need to sink the plug sockets because have a look at my system down here at the moment. Right, so at the moment I'm using a Jackery as power. Right, so it tells you 93% and all that stuff, but it's only got the one fag lighter that goes in, but I've got an extension into two. So that one there with the light on, that's my fan, my max air fan, and the other one is my lights. So I press that button, the lights go out. Turn it back on, and voila. But I got 3 of these fag lighters because my TV also works with a fag lighter as well, but I've only got 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the fag lighter on the end. In case I get a problem with the electrical system later on, I blow a fuse or this goes or whatever, I've always got a Jackery as emergencies, as a backup. So I'm not going to connect my lights or my TV or my fan because those are the 3 most appliances I use. So I'm going to use these plug sockets. So I'm going to wire these plug sockets up to the fuse box and just have them by here. 1, 2, 3. And I can plug the fag lighter end into these plug sockets, right, which is going directly into the fuse box, and then if I do get a problem, I've only got to take it the fag lighter and put it into the Jackery. So that's why I had to go in and get a 30mm wood bit, because I gotta drill through there. There we go. This fag lighter socket, now it's got a screw on the back, so unscrew that and then you feed the socket through the hole. Whoa, look at that. And then you screw the back on and it'll hold it tight. But before I do that, I'm going to put the cables on. So I think I'm going to pop another hole here, okay, and feed these cables around the back of the electrical board. Yeah, so don't think that's going to be long enough, to be honest. And so I unscrew and put them that side. And then through there. There we go. It's nice and tidy. This is nice, I like for me. It's very good. Now these will connect onto the back of the plug. So we got positive on positive. It's quite loose actually. I'm just going to give you a little tiny crimp, only a little bit, because they're only going to come loose. There we go, only a little bit. It just gives you a little bite when you put the plug on. Okay, positive to positive. Oh, it's a better bite. Look at that. And the negative. Oh, that's much better. That's on a nice and tight now. And then, ah, shit. That ring is meant to be on the back. Right, take it out. Put the ring over the back. Right, is that the right way now? Right, so that way, put the back on there, and then feed the cables It's a bit of a faff, but it's one of those jobs that needs to be done properly. Do it properly. Do it once. There we go. So that's positive, positive. Always double check. Make sure the red is positive and the negative is on the negative. And then, where's that fucking ring gone? There it is. And then you get the ring, feed the socket through the hole, like so. And you literally screw on the ring onto the back. It's nice and tight. Yeah. And that's it. There you go. We have ourselves a plug socket. Chip the fuse back in. Alright. Connect it all up. That plug socket now should be live. So, I'm going to put my lights in. Yeah, do you notice all the lights just went off because I took out the plug? So I'm going to plug this into there and the light should come on. Yeah! Okay, I'm going to press these breakers now. Okay, because I'm working on them. Okay, I'm going to do another 2. Let's do it. So now I got 3 plugs in now. So I got my lights, my fan and my TV, as you can see. So all 3 are running solely off the Leisure battery. Happy days. Now I'm just going to run one more cable now. I'm going to tap into the main fuse board with this because I want to run a USB charger. I want to run a USB charger to charge my phone up here on the shelf. Nice. So now we've got the fuse in and that should all be live. Now the last thing to do is to get my phone. Oh look, it's on. I'm so excited. Look, I got a fucking USB charger. So when I plug into my phone now, it should start charging. Yes. And that's it. I have a fucking charger. How cool is that? There we go. Now I can put, oh, I'll tell you what else I can put on there. Boom, boom, boom. That's my Wi-Fi dongle. Right. Unlimited data. Absolutely unlimited. O2 SIM card inside. Pretty much mobile Wi-Fi. So you plug the charger into the Wi-Fi and I can put the Wi-Fi dongle on the shelf. Okay, so let's just recap what we've done. This has taken me over a month in between work and having my daughters on weekends. So basically we have a 130 amp hour Leisure battery AMG. Hello. This is little. Come on. Come on. Move. If you want to be centre of attention, come on. Move. So we have a 130 amp hour AMG Leisure battery. Now let's start with the negatives and then we can go to the positives. So coming, there's only one cable coming off the negative of the battery, and that goes directly to the shunt, the Victron shunt. Now I can connect to the shunt via the app on my phone, and it can tell me the state of the battery, temperature, percentage, drainage, amongst a load of other settings. The most important one, I think, is how much charge is left in the battery before it gets below 50%, which is not ideal. It's dangerous for the battery and it's unhealthy for the battery. So I've set an alarm for 60%. When the battery gets to 60%, my phone will tell me, and I need to charge it before I use it anymore. Now eventually I will have a second battery, maybe a third, I'm not sure, but definitely another second battery. So anyway, off the shunt, then through the Victron Bluetooth, and then at the other end of the shunt into the negative bus bar. Now this is where all the negatives from all the components all join up as one big negative. So then also coming from the negative, you've got the output of the DC to DC charger, the negative, which is going into the bus bar, and then you've also got the negative of the fuse box, right? And then off the fuse box, and that's where you go to all the chargers, the TV, the fan, and the USB charger you just watched me put in on the shelf, all fused, of course. So then we've got the positive. The positive will go into this 30 amp breaker, which you can manually trip. You've got to trip down, everything switched off. There we go, everything back on. Out of the breaker will go into the positive bus bar. Exactly the same as the negative bus bar, but obviously only for positive, because you only want one cable going to the battery. So at the moment I've got 3 positives coming off different things. You don't want 3 cables going to the battery. So there's my all my positives are all connected all together as one big positive. And then obviously the output of the DC to DC charger, which is coming from the starter battery charging this up, is also coming to the positive bus bar. And then obviously the positive will carry on through another 30 amp breaker, which you can manually trip. See, all gone off, and then reset it. There we go, all back on. So you've and then out of this breaker I've actually gone in the hole and back out of here, yeah, because I didn't want to overlap cables. So as you drill the hole, and it's coming out of the top, so all the positives on the fuse box are all on the left hand side. 6 down the left, 6 down the right. All the negatives are at the bottom, and then fused. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And these 2 duct in here, these are the positive and negative inputs coming from the starter battery, and that is pretty much it. There's one more thing I want to have a look before we go. I'll log into the Victron app. There we go, 99%. That's what the battery is currently sat at. So we've got the TV, the lights, and the fan, and the charger I just plugged in, and it's only taken 1%, and that's over a matter of 3 or 4 hours. So it's not too bad. But when I drive off now, it'll top that back up to 100%. So yeah, but also I got the TV on, the lights on, and the fan on. But also tells you then, yeah, time remaining 3 days, 7 hours. So if I leave all my electrics on as they are, TV on, fan on, lights on, charging phones and Wi-Fi dongles, the electrical system will last me 3 days and 10 hours, 3.5 days basically, without having to recharge this. I can just park here for 3.5 days solid, and it'll last me. So yeah, pretty good shit, pretty good shit. So anyway, oh, we've come to, yes, we've come to the end of the video. So yeah, I am so happy with how it all worked out, and if you like this video, can you please give us a thumbs up? A lot of effort for wanting to fucking making this. Give us a thumbs up please, and drop a comment as well if you've got any advice or constructive criticism of how you do it differently, or any comments. You can drop me your comments and say good job, bad job, you know, fucking crazy man, anything. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much guys. Goodbye now. Come on. We fucking done it. We fucking done it.